What's up, everybody? YuGiOh here for another Yu-Gi-Oh 101 discussion video. And today we're going to be discussing some predictions for the 2012 upcoming ban list for the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game. Now, not all of these are my predictions. It was a discussion on the Yu-Gi-Oh wiki site about this, and I just thought that I'd talk about it with you guys. And like I said, not all of these are my predictions. Some of these come from other people, and I'm just going to be giving my opinions on, why I feel like, these cards will or will not be on the ban list or the restricted list, for that matter. Also, a few days ago, I put up a video about like the three types of classes of people that I've seen come and go in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, and that is one of my most viewed videos thus far to date. And it got a lot of, well, not a lot, but it got some attention, like just a good fair amount of attention. So, but it was a lot of negative comments that had nothing to do with the contents of the video. And it was just people just being totally just being complete assholes, being totally disrespectful. And I don't want the people that are subscribed to me or the ones that come to view videos such as this to have to submit themselves to view comments like that. So, fair warning, if I catch anybody just doing any trolling, just being complete assholes like it was in said video. If you don't care about Yu-Gi-Oh related content, then first off, you shouldn't be on a Yu-Gi-Oh related channel, such as this. Half of this channel is dedicated to Nintendo DS game footage. The other half is dedicated to Yu-Gi-Oh related content. And if you don't care about the Yu-Gi-Oh related content, first off, you shouldn't even be watching the video to begin with. And secondly, you shouldn't be leaving comments like I seen in that last video. So if I catch anybody doing that this time, I'm blocking you, because my viewers and my subscribers shouldn't have to submit themselves to seeing comments like that, period. So fair warning, let you guys know. So on to the contents of the video. Like I said, on the Yu-Gi wiki site, it was a discussion about the upcoming ban list that's coming in, I believe in March or April, but I honestly believe it's March. But yeah, and people were going back and forth, trying to discuss, what cards they feel like are going to be on the ban list for this upcoming format. And I've seen some good decisions. I've seen some interesting ones, and then I've just seen some dumb, ridiculous, just some idiotic decisions. Now, before I get started, I just want to say this. Like, my theory on why cards get put on the banned or restriction list to begin with now, this is just my theory. Now, some of you may agree with this, some of you not, but this is just my thoughts on what I think the reasons behind why certain cards get banned. First off is the accessibility. How often the effect of the monster can be used. Can the effect be abused? Like, how much of an unfair advantage does it give to the player that's using it? Does the summoning, in terms of monsters, does the summoning requirement match the payoff of the effect? And overall, is it just a cheap, card that can create these broken combos or things of that nature? So, first up, I'm going to be talking about Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Now, it was a rumor that I seen on Yu-Gi Wiki that Konami was discussing whether or not they were going to put this card on the ban list. Me personally, I don't think that well, the reason why they were going to put it on the ban list supposedly was because it has a special summon ability and has a revival ability. Plus, it can, like just special summon high level dragons at no cost. And they were really thinking of putting this on the ban list. Now, this is just a rumor. Now, for me, I don't think that Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon will hit the ban list. Like, at the most, like, I can see it being limited, and here's why. The reason why it won't hit the ban list is because its effect can't necessarily be abused by itself. I mean, you can summon multiple copies of it, and that's where the issue comes in. Like, if you have 3 of them, then yeah, it can be considered, kind of broken. But, like, just one Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon by itself, understand that card, it is limited to how many turns that it can use that effect. So, because it's limited to how many times it can use its effect per turn, I don't think it's going to get banned. At the most, I think it might get limited or semi-limited. I don't think it's going to be, this upcoming format. I don't think it's going to be unlimited. But it will take a hit, but I don't think it's going to get banned at all. So, moving on to the next one, Light Pulsar Dragon. Now, if anybody was active on Dueling Network when Light Pulsar Dragon first got on there, then you basically know where I'm finna, head with this. When Konami first revealed Light Pulsar Dragon, the effect of it had caused Light Pulsar Dragon to be by far one of the most broken cards to date. And what Konami basically did is, well, like the wording in the description of the card had basically said that if it was sent to the graveyard, at a certain time, then you can special summon one light or dark level 7 or higher dragon type monster, I believe that's what it said. And just because of that wording, that if, it was implied that the card couldn't miss its timing, meaning that you can summon it at will and like just whenever you wanted to. And people would use, and at the time, before Konami had decided to change the wording to correct their mistake, people were using this OTK deck that basically used Light Pulsar Dragon, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, and what's the name of that card? Cannon Soldier. And what they would do is they would continuously tribute, Red Eyes Darkness Metal and Light Pulsar, activate Light Pulsar's effect to special summon Red Eyes Darkness, and then use Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon's effect to special summon Light Pulsar, and they will keep tributing until the opponent's life points had ran, all the way down to 0, and it was just broken. But since then, Konami had fixed that wording and changed that if to when, so it happens like right there and then when the card gets into the graveyard. But yeah, I think that card may get semi-limited. I'm not too 100% sure on that, because if something happens with Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, I don't know if Light Pulsar Dragon will take a hit, but like I said, I'm not too sure about it. So with Light Pulsar Dragon, I'm not sure if anything will happen to it, but if anything does happen to it, it'll probably get semi-limited, but we'll see. The next card is Fishborg Launcher. Now, it's one thing that I want to say about a card like Fishborg Launcher. What Konami likes to do is that they like to hide their mistakes and they try to cover them up. With a few cards actually in mind, like 4, like just off the top of my head, I can think of, Konami has literally tried to hide their mistakes and try to make these alternate cards, or like a sequel card, if you will, to try to cover up the mistakes they made with that card. Those cards were just cheap cash-ins, and Konami knew what they were doing. Let's be honest, they knew what they were doing, and they knew people were going to buy into it because those cards were pretty much broken. And people did. They bought into it, and Konami made their money off of it, and once they felt like they made enough money off of it, they banned it. They banned it, and then so many, months later down the line, they decided to make these alternate cards or these sequel cards to those cards and give these cards the effects that their predecessors were supposed to have in the first place. And this happened with Tribe Infecting Virus. They ended up making Tribe Shocking Virus. With Substitute, they ended up making Trade Toad. What else? With Crushed Hard Virus, which is actually one of the cards I'm going to talk about. Crushed Hard Virus. They came out with actually 2 cards to replace Crushed Hard Virus, and that was the Eradicator Epidemic Virus and the Devastation Virus. So, yeah, and just in the case of Fishborg Launcher, it was Fishborg Blaster, but then they came out with Fishborg Launcher. And the whole issue as to why Fishborg Blaster was banned to begin with was because it was being abused to the point where people were getting multiple synchros out. They were getting massive draws out of their deck, and they would summon like Grindneck of Ice Barrier, use this effect to basically clear their opponent's side of the field, and they would then continuously use Fishborg's simple, low-cost special summoning, and they would use it to synchro up into shooting Quasar Dragon, and just win the game like that. And it gave so much of an unfair advantage to the point where they just said, you know what, we gotta ban this card. And then just not too long ago, they came out with Fishborg Launcher, which is just a watered down version of Fishborg Blaster. I mean, it pretty much can only be used in water decks in order for you to use it to its full potential. If all you have is like water monsters in your graveyard, then you can special summon it. Then if you special summon it that way, once it leaves the field, it gets banished. And then on top of that, it's a tuner monster that you can only use to tune water attribute synchro monsters. Now, I already did a video on that with my, it was a video that I did basically saying that Sea Lancer couldn't abuse Fishborg Launcher. Like, it was a little argument, or like a little debate that I had with somebody on YouTube about the situation, and I just made a video just to prove our point that Sea Lancer, that basically Fishborg Launcher can't be abused. And the guy was arguing with me back and forth about it. I mean, but how you going to abuse something that says that you can only use the effect once per turn? The problem with Fishborg Blaster was that it was being used multiple times per turn. It didn't have a limit on it, and hence why it got banned to begin with. And you can't abuse something that can only be used once per turn. And then with Sea Lancer, it just uses it as a shield in order to keep itself from being destroyed. So it's not being treated as a monster. So then again, you're still not able to use it like you want to. So point proven. Moving on. Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. I'm uncertain about this card too. Some people might argue that Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo is broken, but again, you have to look at the accessibility of the card. How much of an unfair advantage does it give, and does the summoning requirement match the payoff of the monster's effect? I mean, with Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo, it really helps to speed up ninja decks, because it helps you search, just ninjas, well, like the ninja monsters and the other ninja art spells and traps, which is helpful. So that card single-handedly, it literally sped up the ninja archetype. In my opinion, I believe it did. But anybody can feel free to disagree with me. I think that I doubt that Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo will get hit. Like on the ban list, I don't think it will reach the ban list. I don't think it's that big of a issue. But at the most, I can probably see it getting semi-limited, maybe, because it can be searched out with Gold Ninja and you can activate its effect like that. But I don't know. Like I'm not too sure about that. Like I don't know if some, like I'm not 100% sure if anything's going to happen with that. So I'm gonna leave that up to you guys. So it is up for discussion. This is a discussion video. The next one is Senior Silver Ninja. This was one of the suggestions on YuGiOh, that Senior Silver Ninja should be semi-limited, and I kind of disagree with that. And here's why. Again, we have to look at the accessibility, how often the effect can be used, like literally, like if the effect can be abused, and basically like does the summoning requirement match the payoff of the effect. Here's the thing with Senior Silver Ninja. You can only have one of them face up on the field at a time. So that right there puts a halt on it reaching the ban list, in my opinion. Because it's a limit to how many you can have, on the field. It's an easy to set card, because basically what Senior Silver Ninja does, that's a tongue twister, is that when it's flipped face up, you get to special summon, just any number of ninja monsters from your graveyard onto your field in face down defense position. So what it does, is it just makes this wall, like this huge defensive wall, which can be helpful at times. But like I said, you can only have one of these face up on the field at a time, and running 3 of these would just be kind of dumb. Like at the most, you would probably only, like anybody who's played with ninjas and used Senior Silver Ninja, they wouldn't run 3 of these unless they just didn't know what they were doing. At the most, you would run 2 of these, because when you have 3 cards in your hand, possibly, that you can't do anything with, like just in terms of, like getting them on the field, then yeah, I don't think Senior Silver Ninja is really that much of a threat, considering that you can only have one on the field at a time. But that's just my opinion again. Next card, Insector Hornet. It was predicted that this card would get semi-limited. And I kind of agree with that, because basically what Insector Hornet is, like, it's really an MST, a hammer shot, basically all these magic and, well, all these spell and trap cards that can take out like one individual spell, trap, or monster at a time. And it's like they just took all those spells and traps, bunched them all together, and they made Insector Hornet with it. Do I think it needs to be at 3? It's a chance that I think it's going to get semi-limited, because it's a powerful card, truth be told. And you don't really need 3 of them to do anything with. It does get abused. Pretty much that's with a lot of Insector builds. form themselves around is just utilizing Hornet to clear the field, and then they summon another Inzektor, use Hornet again, and just continuously do it. Just, you know, like they can just wipe out your opponent's side of the field, you know, like with literally no effort. So yeah, and all you need is like Hornet in your hand or in the graveyard in order for that to work. So it will probably get semi-limited, probably. Moving on to the next one, like Bryanek, Dragon of Ice Barrier. Somebody actually made a suggestion that this card should get banned, and I gotta be honest with you, I disagree with that, because Bryanek isn't that big of a threat, you know, as much as it once was when Fishboard Blaster was out. You know, at that time, Fishboard Blaster was being abused, even though it was only one. That's basically all you needed, because, like, the effect that it had just made it that good. Seriously, and it was just too powerful, and, you know, just as a tuner, that just made it even more powerful than it should have been to begin with. So, I mean, and also at the time they had Tech Genis Hyper Librarian Unlimited. So, you know, a lot of people kept special summoning, or synchro summoning, you know, like Hyper Librarian, and they maxed out on that, and then they would summon Formula Synchron, you know, and get 4 cards off of the 3 Hyper Librarians effects, and then 1 more off of Formula Synchron, and then they would form that shooting Quasar Dragon, and, you know, that whole mess. But since then, you know, people still feel like it's overpowered. I don't really know if I agree with being overpowered. I mean, because you have to discard a card just to bounce another card back from your opponent's hand. And since, you know, it's really no way, well, to my knowledge, that you can really abuse Bryanek like that. Like, at that one point when Fishboard Blaster was out, so I don't really think that it's that much of a threat to where it would be banned this upcoming format. So as far as Bryanek is concerned, for this upcoming format, I think it should remain limited. Like, that's just fine the way it is. I don't really see, like, really, yeah. Moving on. The next card is Mystical Space Typhoon. People thought it should be semi-limited again. There's nothing wrong with Mystical Space Typhoon being unlimited. I mean, most people only run 2 of those, you know, just 2 of that card anyway. They run 2 Mystical Space Typhoons and 1 Heavy Storm. Like, that's the, you know, like, that's pretty much what people are going with. I don't know anybody, well, I haven't really seen anybody make a build with 3 Mystical Space Typhoons anyway, because, like with Mystical Space Typhoon, it's a 1-for-1 card. You know, like, you activate 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, and you get to destroy 1 spell or trap on your opponent's side of the field. That's all it is. It's a 1-for-1 card. I honestly don't think it's that big of a, you know, threat to where people, because like I said, people pretty much run only 2 anyway. So yeah, feel free to disagree with me. Again, I don't think nothing will happen to it. You know, like, I think it's gonna remain unlimited. But yeah, moving on to the next card, Rescue Rabbit. People were making the suggestion that Rescue Rabbit should be semi-limited, and I kind of agree with that. It should be semi-limited because, well, one, how can I put it? You have to, you know, like, you gotta banish it in order to get 2 dinosaur type monsters out. And I mean, then people, like what they do is that they use Rescue Rabbit, and then they might use something like Double Summon or something, and then summon to a guy from the underworld. I'm like with Rescue Rabbit, I don't think it's like I'm really confused right now. Like I think that Rescue Rabbit is good enough to not. I'm really confused on Rescue Rabbit right now. Hold on a second. Yeah, like I honestly don't think Rescue Rabbit is so good to where it would get banned or limited. If anything, I can see it being semi-limited because, you know, like I said, you have to look at the accessibility, how many decks can really use this card, which is just normal monster decks. Like, really all it is, Rescue Rabbit is pretty much all it is a quick, like, exceed something. That's all it's used for. Like, it's a quick exceed summon or like a quick synchro, like whenever you need some other synchro monsters out or something. And I mean, but the main thing is that it's just used for like a quick synchro summon. And people use this on a lot of dinosaur decks because with Logia, like that takes 2 dinosaur type monsters, and people would use that for that just to hurry up and get Logia, which is basically a monster form of Solemn Warning, you know. But I'll talk more about that when I actually get to Logia. So I'm gonna stop Rescue Rabbit right there, and I'm gonna move on to the next one. Which of the Black Forest Ham? Which of the Black Forest Ham? Anyways, people actually thought that it would be a good idea to ban Sangan and then bring back Witch of the Black Forest off the ban list. This is one of those stupid decisions that, well, one of those stupid suggestions that people made, because you have to look at it like this. Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest are like the same card basically. The difference between the two is that when Sangan gets sent to the graveyard, it searches based on attack, and it's a lot of monsters with high levels and high attack that Sangan can't search. Which of the Black Forest searches based on defense, so it reaches a wider audience, and a lot of more monsters can be searched for with this card that would just create these overpowered decks, truth be told. And cards like Dark Arm Dragon and things like that can be searched with Witch of the Black Forest, and I don't think that, you know, it would come off the ban list, especially even if they ban Sangan. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it really just reaches a big audience of monsters. Like when you search a monster based on its defense, you have a more likely chance to get it, you know, like in your hand than if you were searching for a monster based on its attack. In Witch of the Black Forest, it can really make a lot of decks somewhat overpowered, in my opinion. But, you know, moving on to the next card. Now, this next one was another one of the dumbest decisions that I've ever seen regarding a ban list prediction. People actually suggested that Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning return to the, you know, to the ban list, and people should bring back Chaos, and, you know, like Konami should bring back Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End. Like I said, this is one of the dumbest, by far the dumbest predictions I've ever seen. You have to understand something. In order to make a sound prediction on a card coming off the ban list, you know, in order for you to make a good prediction or even like a suggestion like that, you have to take it in consideration on why the card was banned to begin with. Cards like Chaos Emperor Dragon are easy to summon, and plus, like it has like a nuke ability and it has a burn damage ability, and that would just, it's just too overpowered. It was a reason why they put that card on the shelf to begin with. It's just one of those cards that, hell no. It's, nah, I can't see that card coming off the ban list at all anytime soon. But moving on to the next card. Infestation Pandemic Infection. Now for those of y'all who don't know what this card is, it's a support card for the Vers, like in the Steel Swarm archetype. And basically what it does, like when you activate it, it renders Steel Swarms and Vers monsters immune to spells and traps for the rest of that turn. Now, the reason why I said that it will probably get semi-limited was because it's a quick play spell card, so you can activate this on your opponent's turn. So that kind of gives it like an extra boost that it really doesn't need because of its effect. You know, like the effect alone is good enough as it is, but when you add it, you know, as a quick play, like once you factor in the fact that it's a quick play spell card, yeah, that kind of really just gives it an extra push that I don't think it needs. But then again, on the other hand, I don't know, it's this other thought inside of my head that, you know, like one of the few Vers monsters, or the only Vers monster that I can think of right now, is Vers Ophion, that can actually search out for the infestation spells and traps. And I don't think anybody would use, you know, all of Vers Ophion's exceed materials in order to search out for all those infestation pandemic infection cards, because you would want to keep at least one exceed material on Vers Ophion, you know, like just to maintain its effect. Like it has an effect where I believe it says like your opponent can't activate or can't special summon level 5 or higher monsters. You know, like something like that, I believe. And because of that, I don't think it's going to get banned per se, but I do think it's going to get hit. You know, it might not happen in this format, but I can see it getting hit in the future. So, on to the next one. And I can't believe somebody actually suggested this. Golden Sarcophagus. Yeah, like that generic search card. Somebody actually made the suggestion that this card should get hit, you know, like semi-limited. That card is going to remain unlimited, and here's why. It's slow, and you actually lose something important when you play that card. One, when you activate it, you search out, you know, any card that you want to target, and then you remove that card from play. Now, what this does is that you lose the element of surprise, and you're letting your opponent know literally what card you plan on adding to your hand 2 turns from now, because that's how long you have to wait, 2 turns, and then you can add the card to your hand. But you're giving away your element of surprise, and on top of that, you're letting and also on top of the fact of you letting your opponent know what card you plan on adding to your hand 2 turns from now, you're giving them the opportunity to, well, like 2 turns to actually like set up something for that card. So I don't think anything is going to happen with Golden Sarcophagus. It's a slow search card. It's, you know, it's not that, you know, it's really not that good of a card to where I can see it being hit, to be honest with you. I mean, some people use it to search out rabbit, like rescue rabbit, and I don't think that, I mean, like what they do is they use Golden Sarcophagus to search out rescue rabbit. They summon Tour Guide from the underworld, summon another level 3 fiend, and they exceed like into Leviair Dragon, then use its effect to get rabbit from the banish zone onto the field, use its effect, and but even with that, I don't think that card is so dangerous that it would hit the ban list, or even like the restricted list at that. So to me, that was a stupid prediction. In a way, I can kind of see, but it was stupid. The Golden Sarcophagus isn't that big of a threat to where it would be hit. The next card, Judgment Dragon. Now, I made a video about Judgment Dragon like last year, and to this day, I don't understand exactly why they unlimited Judgment Dragon, because at the time of its release, well, it was unlimited. At the time, it was unlimited. No, I want to say it was because of the exceeds, but then again, the only exceed that was accessible to level 8 monsters, and level 8 dragons in particular, was Thunder and Dragon. But that card summoning requirement called for 2 level 8 normal dragon type monsters in order to summon it. And with the way Judgment Dragon is, it's a broken card in my opinion. I mean, some people make the argument that Light Swarms aren't as strong as they once were, and that may be true, but Light Swarms are just ridiculous. What the hell is playing? I'm not sure if y'all can hear that, but somebody got the TV on and they playing Katy Perry, but ugh. Yeah, moving on. Judgment Dragon, it like I said, when you look at my theory of why cards get banned, you have to look at accessibility and does the summon, and in terms of monsters alone, does the summoning requirement match the payoff? I mean, some people would use Judgment Dragon. I think I've seen people use it with Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, and what they would do is they would wipe the field clean with that low cost that Judgment Dragon has, and it would, like you pay 1,000 life points, you could just wipe the field clean, and that's kind of cheap for that type of effect. I mean, some people will make the argument that it's so many ways to get rid of it now with, with cards like Divine Wrath or even Starlight Road, or like even a new card that that's out, the Huge Revolution Reversal. But I don't know. I still think that card should have never been unlimited, in my opinion. It will probably go back to being semi-limited. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. Pot of Avarice remains limited. That's my prediction. I honestly think it's going to remain limited. I don't see any reason to really bring it back to semi or even unlimit that card, because you basically get to just reset your graveyard and then you get to draw 2 cards. So you basically get some good draw power, with it, as well as you get to reset some of your monsters, like 5 of your monsters in the graveyard. And to be able to do that multiple times, that's kind of cheap. I'm gonna call it what it is. It's cheap. So cards like Pot of Avarice, to me, it's going to remain limited, because people use it for their synchros and their exceeds, and yeah, I don't think that's going to be unlimited or semi-limited. I honestly believe Pot of Avarice is going to be even upcoming this next format. I honestly believe that it's going to remain limited. Now the card that I was going to get to when I was speaking to Rabbit, the Evozar Lagia. Now, somebody made the suggestion that this card should get limited, and I don't know what to say about that. I mean, like, you know, like its effect is powerful, but it can only do it once. Like, with Evozar Lagia, like, that's basically Solemn Warning in monster form. It's Solemn Warning in monster form, but you, in order for it to activate its effect, like it has to give up all of its exceeds. I mean, like, you know, like all of its exceed materials, and because of that, I'm not sure if it will get limited per se. Like, I think it might get semi-limited, but we'll see. Like, I'm not too sure about Lagia. Like, something tells me that something's gonna happen to it, but you know. Next card, Monster Reborn. I don't know why people keep on bitching about Monster Reborn, because truth be told, like, this happened last year in, like, both formats. I seen people complaining about Monster Reborn, saying, oh, you need to bring back Premature Burial and ban Monster Reborn, because with Premature Burial, you need to pay life points for it, and Monster Reborn is just a free summon. I mean, yeah, it's a free summon, but damn, every card in Yu-Gi-Oh shouldn't be, you know, you shouldn't have to pay for to activate an effect like that every fucking card, for every card. And I don't know, like, in all honesty, to me, when people make some suggestions like this, like with Monster Reborn and like, you know, like Golden Sarcophagus, or, you know, like Grandmaster Hanzo, things like that, or even Fishboard Launcher, or, you know, any card for that matter. Like, when they make wild predictions, like, that really doesn't make any sense, in all honesty, it's, to me, almost like they lost against, like, somebody using that card so many times to where they're just, like, personally pissed off, and they just want to see it go. It's nothing wrong with Monster Reborn being at 1. It would be trouble if it was unlimited, but it's limited. It's a reason why they limited it. I don't think that it's going to be semi-eyed. I don't think it's going to be banned. It's perfect the way it is. It's limited to 1. You get 1 free special summon because it can help you out of a tight situation. Yeah, and with Premature Burial, like, that can be searched out with Hidden Armory, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I don't think Premature Burial is coming back because that set people up for things. And yeah, like, I'm at a loss for words for that one. But moving on to the next card. Somebody made a suggestion that that YuGiOh Guardian should become limited for the next format. Now, for those of you like that who, you know, don't know about YuGiOh Guardian, because at the time, like, I did take a hiatus from playing Yu-Gi-Oh and all that, you know, like, just to get myself together. And this was around the time where I think, you know, like, cards like YuGiOh Guardian and like Dark Strike Fighter, I believe that's the name of that card. Like, they were really, like, making these loops, these broken, overpowered decks. And with YuGiOh Guardian in particular, I had actually looked it up. Now, as I said in my theory, the reason why certain cards get banned or restricted is because, well, like with monsters in particular, does the summoning requirement match its payoff? And is it just a cheap card? And with YuGiOh Guardian, it's that. And it's accessible. And, you know, it pretty much gives an unfair advantage because of how accessible it is. YuGiOh Guardian is a synchro monster. It is a 2800 attack beat stick with an effect that when it destroys an opponent's monster and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your side of the field and face up defense mode. Now, the problem wasn't necessarily with the attack of the monster. the problem wasn't necessarily with the effect of the monster, it was the level and the summoning requirements. The summoning requirements for YuGiOh Guardian was just one tuner and one non-tuner monster, and it was a level 6, easily accessible, easily be, you can easily summon it with no effort, and with an effect like that and a high attack power like that, that's why it had to go. And I don't think it's going to be coming back anytime soon. Now, what I do think they're going to do is try to make a sequel card for YuGiOh Guardian in the future and try to correct it. Like, honestly, if YuGiOh Guardian wasn't like a level 6 synchro monster, and like like if it had somewhat of a like stricter like summoning requirements, like I would say like around like level 8, then maybe YuGiOh Guardian would have never got put on the ban list, but because it was a level 6, it had that high attack power and that effect. I mean, a level 6 monster could have easily overcame a like a regular level 8 monster with ease, such as Stardust Dragon, and other monsters as well. But yeah, it was put on the ban list for a reason. Like I said before, when people make suggestions on why a card should come off of the ban list, they should see why it was put on there to begin with, and then try to make their prediction on whether or not it should come off the ban list or not. Next card, cards I lost my place. Call of the Haunted. I believe that it's going to remain semi-limited. I don't see what's the big deal with it. It's basically a Monster Reborn that just limits it to your graveyard. And, I mean, then you have to worry about, the trap card itself being destroyed and losing your monster. And, whatever. I don't think it's that big of a threat. Like, it might go back to 1, but I seriously doubt it. I don't think it's going to become unlimited. So, like, I honestly think it's just going to remain semi-limited. So, that's my prediction on Call of the Haunted. Now, the Magician of Faith. This card is going to stay banned. Why? Because people are going to abuse it to try to get back, broken cards, or, cards to, make these overpowered decks. Like cards like Mind Control, like they're going to try to reuse that, reuse Darkhold, reuse Heavy Storm. Yeah, Magician of Faith isn't coming back. Tour Guide from the Underworld, semi-limit that. It was a prediction that somebody had made. I can see why Tour Guide from the Underworld would be semi-limited. But the question is, will it? I mean, I don't know. Like, I honestly think it's a good card. I don't know. Like, I am leaning towards, it being semi-limited because of its effect. Like, you can just special summon any level 3 fiend and, like, just do whatever with it. And, I don't know, like, at first, well, like, here's the thing. If the rulings for Exceed monsters were the same as it was when they first came out, I honestly can say that I could see Tour Guide of the Underworld being banned. Now, for those that wasn't in the know at that time, like around the time when Exceeds first came out, in they had cards like Tour Guide and Underworld that came out. What people did was they made these broken builds. Well, like this one broken strategy in particular that made like these cards like Tour Guide and Underworld so famous that it actually shot up to like over $300 on a price tag. And and basically how that card combo went was that you summon Tour Guide, use its effect to summon Sangan, exceed what's the name of that dragon? Leviathan dragon, and use Sangan to search just like another card that you may need for later on. And this was one of those instances where I say people don't use common sense. Okay, when Exceeds first came out, Konami had stated that Exceed materials aren't considered to be, to be on the field. They aren't considered to be on the field. Sangan has an effect that once it leaves the field and goes to the graveyard, its effect activates. But if you use it to Exceed, and Exceed materials aren't considered to be on the field, then how the hell does its effect activates? But because people knew that, Konami didn't come out with the rulings for Exceeds, up to that extent just yet, they were arguing back and forth, and, people just accepted the fact that, okay, well, like this is going to be the card combo for the time being, just because we want something broken, and or overpowered. And you can ditch Sangan from Levier, and make it 2,500. And you can search with it, and that's how it was for a while, until like Konami got their head out of their ass and just put their foot down and said, you know what, Exceed materials, like they just officially came out and said it. Exceed materials. What's my outside? Nope. Exceed materials aren't considered to be on the field, and this is what the rulings were like prior to this new, like all these new rulings coming out for Exceeds. It was stated that Exceed materials aren't considered to be on the field. So if it's not on the field, and you use cards like Sangan to Exceed summon, then how the hell does its effect activates? But I digress. They fixed it. Whoop-de-woo. Like, it's not as bad as it once was. So everything's lolly-dandy and pantsy-pantsy, or whatever you want to say. But Tour Guide being semi-limited, I can see it happening, but will it happen? I'm not sure. Master Hyperion. I think it should be semi-limited, but I think it's going to remain unlimited. Because it has a special summon ability, and, I'm not too sure about Master Hyperion. Like, in all honesty, I think it's going to be, like, just remain unlimited. But I'm pretty sure it's some people that feel like the card is, overpowered or whatever. But I don't know, like I have this gut feeling that I honestly have this gut feeling that nothing is going to happen to it. But if something does happen to it, then it'll probably get semi-limited at the most. Like, I don't really see Hyperion being that much of a problem. Because in order to activate its effect, like, you do need to, like, remove from play an agent. Or, like one fairy type monster in order to destroy a card on the field, or a monster, I think, or a card. Like, I can't remember Master Hyperion's effect, but I don't know. Like, I don't think nothing's gonna happen with it. Let's just move on. Royal Library. Now, it's this infinite draw loop that people use for these Exodia decks. And they just can create these infinite draw loops at non-stop, and basically what they do with Royal Library is that they put it face up on the field. They activate all these spell cards that can cause these infinite amount of draws, like just until they get like just all the pieces of Exodia. and win the game. And that's actually kind of a broken loop when you can just draw that damn much in one turn. I mean, shit, come on now. But will something happen with it? I could think so, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Ha ha ha. Gym Night Fusion. Nothing is going to happen with Gym Night Fusion, and here's why. Anybody who uses Gym Night Fusion, well, anybody that plays with Gym Nights or have seen Gym Nights being played, know that Gym Nights rely, well, like some of their main, attack power comes from their fusion monsters. You know, and Gym Night Fusion is their own personal, like polymerization. And, you know, people think it's an overpowered, you know, card because all you gotta do is just banish one Gym Night in your graveyard to add it back to your hand. And people are complaining about it and, you know, say that this card should be semi-limited, it should be limited, blah, 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 blah. I don't think nothing is going to happen with the card because here's why. Anybody that, you know, plays with the Gym Night build is pretty much only going to use 2 of these cards because 3 of them will be clutter. And I don't think Konami would force somebody's hand to honestly make a wiser decision than that. Like Gym Night Fusion is just for Gym Nights and it's not accessible to everybody. So, well, like, to, you know, other decks out there. So Gym Night Fusion, it's in a class by itself. I don't think it's, you know, that much of an issue to where it would get hit. I think it's going to remain unlimited. You know, and that's basically my prediction with Gym Night Fusion. Moving on. Infernity Launcher. Set to 2 for it to get semi-limited. Somebody else had made the suggestion on the YuGiOh wiki site, and I don't think that it needs to be at 2. Like, I honestly think that, like, with that whole like Infernity, you know, Electrician loop that they got out, like, they have Monster Reborn and they got Call of the Haunted. They don't need, you know, like 2 Infernity launchers out there. Like, I think it's going to remain limited. And that's just my prediction on it. You know, cards like Crush Card Virus. I already touched on this when I was speaking on Fishborg Launcher. You know, like, it has 2 sequel cards, so that's just Konami saying, hey, I admitted my mistake, and because of that, we're going to ban this, and we're going to give you these other 2 cards, you know, that should have had the effect that Crush Card Virus had. Because Crush Card Virus, the reason why it was banned, that it basically destroyed everything. It basically destroyed every damn thing. And, yeah, it was one of those cards that was just way overpowered than it should have been. And, you know, they corrected it. Like, they came out with Eradicator, Epidemic Virus, and Deck Devastation Virus to, you know, just to correct that one mistake with Crush Card Virus. So, yeah, they fixed that. So, because of those other 2 cards, Crush Card Virus won't be coming back. That's staying on the ban list for an eternity. Dun dun dun. And now for the cards that everybody knows is going to get hit on the ban list because of a certain broken loop. People already know, and drum roll please, what is it? Wind-ups. That's right, wind-ups most definitely will be taking a hit. I honestly believe this. Because of that broken loop, wind-ups will be getting shot down this upcoming format. Now, the question isn't whether or not windups will be getting hit. The question is which windup will be getting hit. And now I have 3 candidates. Windup Zen Mighty, Windup Rat, and Windup Hunter. These are the 3 cards that I believe that are going to get touched. Well, like it's these 3, or like 2 of these 3 or 1 of these 3. Those 3 cards are the ones that are eligible, in my opinion, to get hit. And here's why. Now, in all honesty, I don't think Windup Hunter will get touched. Here's why. Because when windups first came out, people really wasn't using Windup Hunter like that. Like Windup Hunter, like it honestly can't use its own effect to. Like it can't tribute itself in order to activate its effect. Meaning that if you have 2 windup hunters on the field, you can't use one to activate the other's effect. Now, for those not in the know, this windup loop, basically what it did is that it just emptied out your opponent's hand completely on the first turn, basically making your opponent defenseless, which gives an unfair advantage, a ridiculous unfair advantage to the one using that loop. And it's so broken, it's ridiculous, and it would be stupid if Konami doesn't do anything about that, this upcoming format. If Konami doesn't do anything about that loop, then Konami hates everyone. Like, seriously. But in my opinion, like, the ones that will take the hit are Zen Mighty and Rat. I don't think Hunter is going to take the hit because when windups first came out, people wasn't using Hunter like that. And truth be told, Hunter wouldn't have as much, ammo to use for its effect if it wasn't for Rat and Zen Mighty. So pretty much out of those 3 cards, I honestly feel that Rat and Zen Mighty are the ones that are really up to get hit, because those 2 are the main problem in that build. But I'm gonna let you guys decide which one or which, or is it both? And yeah, I'm gonna end the video there. I know I didn't elaborate on some of these cards as well as I should have. Forgive me. Sometimes I honestly forget what I'm gonna say, and that did happen. But yeah. So these are the predictions, not just mine, but from other people off of various websites. What are your predictions for this upcoming ban list? Like, are the cards that I mentioned, like all these predictions, fair? Are they unfair? Like, what do you think is going to get banned this upcoming ban list? This upcoming format. And yeah, it's been a YuGiOh 101 discussion, predictions for the March ban list, I believe. Yeah, the March ban list, or the April one. Like, I'm not sure when they're going to do it. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure somebody's going to correct me in the comments. But yeah, YuGiOh 101 discussion, ban list predictions, ban list / restrictions, predictions for the upcoming format in 2012, this year, of course. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time for another YuGiOh 101 discussion. Peace.